President-elect Trump picked Oklahoma Attorney General Scott Pruitt to serve as the head of the EPA. And this is yet another horrific pick. So we have Attorney General Jeff Sessions. That's what Donald Trump wants. He says good people don't smoke marijuana. He criticized a white civil rights attorney for being a, quote, traitor to his race. Trump's CIA pick wants to execute Edward Snowden, and he basically picked Goldman Sachs to lead the economy. One for Treasury Secretary, the president of Goldman Sachs to lead the budget. So, sad. That's what that is. Well, Pruitt is really bad. Betsy DeVos, who is a Christian fundamentalist who does not believe in public schools, will now head the public schools. So his picks are as bad as it gets. I mean that. They're really bad. Well, Pruitt is one of the worst. I mean, again, it just keeps getting worse and worse. So under Pruitt, who, by the way, is the Attorney General of Oklahoma, Pruitt, it was one of 24 states to file a lawsuit against the EPA over the Clean Power Plan. So for those of you who don't remember, we covered the Clean Power Plan a while ago, and, it's basically a move from Obama to limit pollution, limit climate change, and the regulations literally saved lives. Like there was a detailed analysis that was done, and come to find out, it would save lives because it cuts back on all this pollution. Well, these guys are like, no, we can't have that. This is burdensome, and we love business so much, and they're fighting it. So Pruitt's biography describes himself as a leading advocate against the EPA's activist agenda. So the guy to lead the EPA is somebody who quite explicitly doesn't believe in the EPA, doesn't agree with the EPA, thinks the EPA should have its hands tied behind its back. All right, more. The National Institute on Money and State Politics database shows that Pruitt has brought in nearly $325,000 in donations from the fossil fuel industry. Here we go again, man. I told you guys, this is the old George Bush trick. I am picking somebody to be the head of the EPA who worked for the oil companies. But it's okay because they are competent in the field. No, they're only competent in the field when it comes to regulations because they're used to evading the regulations. So it's the opposite of being competent in it. They're competent in it for the wrong reason. It's like picking somebody who's a robber to be the sheriff in town because, hey, he's familiar with the game. Yeah, because he's been on the wrong side of it. So this is insanity. And he's also, by the way, a climate change denier. Oh, no. So he's buddy-buddy with Jim Inhofe. For those of you who don't know, Jim Inhofe wrote a book about climate change denial. He's the guy who brought a snowball into Congress and then threw it on the ground and said, see, climate change isn't real. Huh. So this is as bad as it gets. We now have somebody who Trump wants to lead the EPA, who doesn't believe in environmental protection. He doesn't believe climate change is happening. He doesn't care about safety regulations. There are even Democratic senators who are warning, hey man, this guy is so extreme, he wants to, amend, reform the Clean Water and Clean Air Act. What? So you're coming after even the most basic regulations. Things today where we go, oh, well, that's obvious. If you live in a modern country, you of course want to have clean water and clean air. And yes, you regulate business to make sure that you get those things. He's like, or not. I mean, that does get in the way of liberty now, doesn't it? I mean, you're really stepping on the toes of big business if you don't let them pollute however they want and potentially poison water supplies. The Clean Water and Clean Air Act. Under President Trump, they are controversial. That's controversial. And the pick is against him. He wants to reform or amend it. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. This is bad. This is as bad as he gets in terms of picks. See, now is when you need the Democrats to fight, man. Now is when you need the Democrats to step up and go, No way, bitch. Not a chance. Not a snowball's chance in hell. Not Jim Inhofe's snowball's chance in hell. So, if he appoints... I mean, so far, almost all of his appointments have been like this. If he continues to go down this road, fear for the country. He's also, by the way, picking so many generals for positions. I think he's got like 4 generals now that he picked. What happened, Don? I thought you know ISIS better than the generals. The generals are sad. I know ISIS better than the generals. He surrounded himself with all these generals. So, a great point by Adam Johnson on this. He said on Twitter, it appears like he's cutting out the middleman in the military-industrial complex. Like, he's just putting the military in charge of everything. So forget you don't need the complex anymore. It's just skip the middleman. Cut out the middleman. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So all the talk about draining the swamp and, you know, hopefully being more non-interventionist on foreign policy, it's looking like that's not going to happen.